Welcome to There's a Book in My Nook. This is the first book I'm going to talk about today. It's called Damsel Distressed by Kelsey Mack. And I really enjoyed this book. It's kind of a twist on Cinderella, except this is told from the stepsister's point of view, and her name is Imogen, and she's actually how would I say it, the victim, kind of like Cinderella was, and her stepsister's name is Ella. So Imogen's mother died.
It's Imogene.
Is it Imogene or Imogene?
I don't think it's Imogene.
You don't think so?
No.
It used to be Imogene.
It did?
Yeah, because that's my aunt's name is Imogene.
Are you serious?
Yes, but I can say, what did you say it was? Imogene?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say Imogene,
Imogene. Imogene sounds like I'm a gene.
Imogene, anyway. We'll say Imogene then. Her mother died a few years ago, and she's been having a really hard time with it. She lives with her dad, and she's been kind of in and out of therapy, and she's gained a lot of weight, and she's just had a lot of depression due to her mom's passing. Well, then her dad remarries, and the woman he remarries is really thin, really into nutrition, really her appearance is really important to her. However, she's not a bad person. Like in Cinderella, if you remember, the stepmother was completely evil and bad and out to get Cinderella. Well, that's not how it is. Now, her daughter, though, is named Ella. Okay, so it's a twist on Cinderella. And her daughter is not a good person, let's put it that way. And she has decided, for whatever reason, like Imogene doesn't have enough problems, that's her goal in life, is to destroy any happiness Imogene has. So this poor girl's already going through all this. Now she's got this stepsister living with her. What is it, 16, 17,
Okay.
right through there. And now she's got this stepsister living with her who is tiny, and everyone in the school thinks she's so pretty and thinks she's so great, and she's just downright mean to her. So Imogene's best friend is Grant. They've been friends since they were really little, and Imogene has feelings for him, but she thinks he'll never have any feelings for her because she's kind of, like I said, stuck in best friend mode. And like I said, she's a little overweight and she's a little plain, and she thinks that with all of her anxiety problems that no one's ever going to see her as a girlfriend material. Well, when Ella finds out that she likes Grant, she decides she's going to date Grant. And so now Imogene's even more upset. However, Grant does not go along with this. He can, after he talks to Ella a little bit, he can kind of see that she's just doing this to get back at Imogene. Oh, by the way, nobody really believes Imogene when she says that Ella's out to get her either. Because Ella puts on this personification that she's so sweet and nice, and everyone thinks it's just another one of Imogene's anxiety issues. Well, one of the things she has to do for her therapy when she sees her therapist is she keeps a journal, and she writes down all of her thoughts and everything that's going on with her in this journal. Well, towards the end of the book, Imogene's finally doing better. She's in this play and she's an understudy, and it ends up where she gets the part because the girl who's supposed to have the main part can't do it. So she gets to play the part. Well, she's happy. Everyone's being nicer to her and accepting her more. And then her stepsister gets a hold of the journal and makes tons of copies and spreads it all over the school. So you have to read to find out what happens between her and Grant, and if she can overcome this, and what happens with the stepsister.
Is she writing stuff about Grant in the journal?
She's writing stuff about everybody. It's part of her therapy, and it's not always bad, but if taken out of context, it could be. Like, she'll say something about Grant, like, to be really, really nice, and then she'll have one line, but he's driving me crazy today, like doing this. And her sister just takes those parts.
Oh.
And that's what she makes copies of and sends around the school. It's just anything out of context that can make her look even worse.
Right.
Also, one of the things I thought was so cool about this book, let's see if I can show you. In the chapters, if I can find a page, there is a QRT code. And I don't know if you know what that is. It's a little square, and you can scan it with your phone or with a tablet. Here it is. Can you see if you can see?
Where are you pointing?
See the security code here?
Oh, okay.
See them?
Mm-hmm.
You can see these you see them at stores sometimes. If you scan it, there is a whole album of songs that were made to go with this book.
By various artists?
No, by the same group.
What's the group?
Oh, it tells. What does it say? It says in here. I'd have to find it.
Is it a well-known group?
No, it's not a well-known group, but it is, they are really, really good. And it is really cool because.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did. And what I liked to do, so I can find where it talks about, I don't remember where it talks
It's not
about
like
it.
angst music or anything like that, is it?
It depends on the chapter.
Really?
So some chapters it's uplifting, other chapters it might be, sad, but I'm trying to find.
But it's
what,
not like heavy metal where you can't understand
Oh
the
no
words
no
or
no
anything like that. Okay.
no. Let's see if I can find out about it. But anyway, I think the group might be Damsel Distressed. Either the group is Damsel Distressed or the album is called Damsel Distressed.
And they did
No,
that.
it's presented with Imogene Unlocked, an album of original songs performed by the band Wedding Day Rain.
Never heard of them.
If you're interested in the songs, they're all available for your listening pleasure at damseldistress.com. Or what I like to do when I was doing it is as I would read the chapter, I would, on that chapter, play the music as I was reading it, like
So
background.
how many songs do you usually get when you do the thing?
You get one song per chapter.
Oh.
So the song is in direct correlation and was written for that chapter.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I thought it was really neat. And like my daughter who loves music, she loved that part. And see, sometimes it's not even like, I'm trying to see how many was in this. That's only the chapters that she does it with are usually short chapters. So they might only be like 4 pages. So basically the music lasts while you're reading the chapter. And it's not every chapter that has them. So like 7 doesn't have one. Let's see. 8 doesn't have one. But 9 does. So the chapter is something about, and then I don't know how many pages are in this chapter.
Well,
Just about 3.
Does that go with chapter 9 or chapter 8?
Chapter 9.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
because there's chapter 10. And so I just thought it was a really unique idea to have literally songs that go with certain chapters that, go along with it. So it's something different. I think a lot of kids will really relate to that. How many kids listen to music when they read anyway? A lot do. They have their headphones in. See, I can sometimes, but I know my daughter does almost all the time, and a lot of people do.
Really?
And they'll even have, I know, like your tablets and stuff are set up so that when you read, you can have music playing in the background. So a lot of people like that. So it's something different, and I think
because I read in my head, I can't have something else going in my head.
Some people can, and they like that. So, but anyway, this is by Kelsey Mack, and it is in the YA department. It's the first book that I've seen that has done this. So just something different. And we do have this. And a book that kind of reminded me a little bit, not of this book particular, but of a fairy tale retold as Beastly. There was a movie made about this several years ago. And this is by Alex Flynn, and he's wrote several other books. And now that I know of it, is Alex Flynn a girl or a guy? Alex could be girl or guy. I don't know.
I think it's a guy.
I think it's a guy too, but nope, it's not. It's a female.
Say it's a female.
Yeah, so see. But this is the book Beastly, and it's a take on Beauty and the Beast, told in modern times, just like Damsel in Distress is told in modern times. A lot of your takes on fairy tales are still told in like medieval times, or they're just
except for the one that was on TV. It wasn't. Was it?
Oh, the one that
where he lived in the sewer, like
Beauty and what was that? Was it Beauty and the Beast, or just the Beast, or
the
Beauty?
Beast, or something?
Yeah, years
ago,
like it was a modern take.
Yeah,
on
it was a modern.
And this is a modern take on it, where he really isn't a beast. He gets cursed, and if you saw the movie, it's more like he has like markings all over his face.
Right, that's the way the TV.
Yeah.
Well, the TV was he was a lion.
No, he was like a lion thing. No, this one's not. He's not like a creature. He just has like all this stuff on his face, and he can't grow any. He's like bald and all this, and it's like a curse, and he has to find someone who loves him for him, just like in Beauty and the Beast. But it was pretty good. And there is a movie. It has Vanessa Hutchinson in it, and one of the Olsen twins, on which Mary Kate or Ashley is in that. So
how do you know?
Huh?
Probably both.
But. So this is one, and we have this one up there too. And off to you.
Okay. For children's, this isn't really. It's kind of keeping with the winter theme, just because that's what the title says. But it's really more of a. I can't explain it. It's a really, really cute book. It's called "Cats Have Kittens, Do Gloves Have Mittens?"
Aww.
And it's written by Kathleen Schur, and we do have this here at our library. And it starts out with just little things like, Do ships have boats? Do what is it? Something like do I forget. Like frogs have tadpoles, horses have foals, and then it goes on to say, does bread have rolls? And it's
Yeah.
just really, really cute little things. And it goes on to tell you the names of baby animals. And then it does like correlations, like buses don't have cars, and so on and so on. Poles don't have sticks.
Right.
And then at the very end, there's a very, very cute little surprise that I think every kid would enjoy that book.
So an oldie but goodie.
It is an oldie but a goodie, yes. I mean, and you can tell, I don't know if you can tell looking, but it's very well worn. You can tell it's been
Well loved.
checked out, yes. Well read, yes.
Now you can do your juvenile book.
And do my juvenile book. Okay, I have a little story behind my juvenile book here. My juvenile book is called Scrawl, and it's written by Mark Schulman. And when I first came to work at this library, before working here, I mostly read. Well, I totally read all adult books. I didn't read any YA books. I didn't read any juvenile books. In fact, I really didn't know that there was actually a distinction between it. I just
think a lot of people
thought
don't know
fiction
that.
was fiction,
Right.
And I didn't know it was broken down into age groups or anything like that. And I found out, did you know they actually, YA is considered 19 to 30? That's the age group?
Well, they're actually trying to divide that. There's a whole movement.
Yeah, I know.
New adults is what they're trying to do, which I do think is a good idea because, like up in teen space where I work, 12 to 19. Well, books that I would recommend for 12, 13, 14-year-olds are not the same books I'm recommending for 17, 18. Recommending for 17, 18, 19-year-olds.
Right.
So we don't have anything like you do down here in children's that breaks that
Right,
up.
right.
And that's what they're talking about. They would like the 17 and actually a little bit farther. They would like it to be like 17 to like early 20s would have, because there is some books up there that are about college students.
Right.
Well, that's older, but
Right.
yeah, so they're talking about in a lot of libraries are wanting to do something called new adult where it would break it up more.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Anyway, so when I came here and started working at this library and working down here in the children's department, I do have to say, because I have kids, I had read some of the children's books, so I did know pretty well children's books, but I didn't really know anything about the juvenile books. And I had kids start asking me, what do you recommend that we read, what's a good book to read? And I thought, I have no idea because I've never read a juvenile book. And all I could think about was adult books, and I wasn't going to recommend some of the adult books that I knew. So anyway, I thought, well, you know what? I need to go pick up a juvenile book. So I went over in our, we have a new section of juvenile books that come in. And I saw this one. I thought, you know what? This looks pretty interesting. And I'm here to tell you that luckily this was a very good book, because had it not been very good, I don't know how many more juvenile books I would have read after this. But after reading this, I thought, you know what? These books aren't half bad. Yes, they're a little below my speed, but
Right.
you know what? They can be very good. And this was a very good book. It has to do with bullying. And this kid, his name is Todd. And he is a bully, but he's a very, very smart kid. Very smart and very talented. He can sew. He can do a lot of things because his mom's a seamstress. Well, he's very
I'm
poor.
not the only one having difficulty.
Yeah. He's very, very poor. And so, like at his house, he sleeps out like in a enclosed porch on the front of the house, like a lot of houses have. And it's not very well heated. And he's enrolled in the food program at school because there's just not a lot of food at home. But anyway, so as most bullies do, that usually kind of come from that environment, they seem to pick on the kids that they feel are easy to pick on, that makes them feel better. Well, he happens to pick on this one kid and he busts his glasses. And that's probably the final straw for the school. Well, he actually does one more thing. And all I can tell you about that is the school has a statue. And you'll have to read it. But that ends Todd in a lot of trouble with that statue. And so instead of punishing him, because he has two other friends, well, they sent the two other friends out to gather garbage in the schoolyard. But the guidance counselor recognizes something in Todd that she says, you know what? I want him to do something different. I want him, his detention is he's going to come into my classroom every night and he's going to journal. I want him to just write down anything. He's not going to read. He's not going to do homework. He's going to journal. He can just sit there and look at a blank page of paper, but that's what he's going to do. He's going to journal. And that's what the story is. It goes on to how he starts journaling. He starts opening up to this teacher. And at the very end, going back to the statue, there's a sign on this. Well, there's a sign on the front door that says what most schools say. It says, no trespassing, violators will be prosecuted. He reads it a total different way. And you'll have to read, or you'll have to read the book to find out how he interpreted that sign is how he ended up doing his journaling. It was a fantastic book.
That
Absolutely.
sounds good.
And you know what? Come to think of it, I kind of wished I would have read this book a long time ago, because when you think about when you punish your own kids, if I would have sat them down and had them journal, you know, maybe if kids wrote out their feelings more, maybe parents would be more in tune with the kids.
What's
Because
going on.
because you want to punish immediately. And
Sure.
then, you know, okay, so what did you learn from this? You know, well, what the kid's going to verbally tell you what he thinks you want to
wanna
hear,
right?
instead of actually putting his feelings down of how he looked at the whole situation. I thought it was a fantastic book. Absolutely fantastic.
My second book is 100 Sideway Miles by Andrew Smith, and he wrote Winger, which I really liked Winger. You read Winger.
Mhm.
And so this is another book that he's written, and it's very different. And this is about Finn Easton. And Finn Easton's dad is an author. And he has wrote this series that has just, or I shouldn't say series, he has written this book that has just taken the world by storm years, like 10 years ago. And the main character in the book is named Finn. So everybody thinks that it's about him. And his dad swears it's not, that he just used the same name. But he always feels like he has this cloud over him when everyone finds out who his dad is and what his name is. To make matters worse, this is so bizarre. Okay, when he was 4 or 5, somewhere around that, him and his mom were walking under this bridge. Like, you know, sometimes they'll have walkways under bridges along the side of a river. And a horse fell off the bridge and landed on him and his mother and killed his mother. Now, what are the chances of that? And how do you tell people that's what happened to your mother? They look at him like, yeah, right. That's crazy. Not only that, it has left him, it broke his back.
In his what?
It broke his back.
His left him.
It has left him with a broken back. So he has this scar.
When he was 4,
Yeah.
he broke his back.
So it has the scar on his back, and he has seizures. Sometimes he'll go a couple weeks, sometimes he'll have several a week, but he has these seizures. And he hates these seizures. He never knows when they're going to happen. All he knows is
When you say seizure, like an epileptic seizure, he falls on the ground and starts shaking?
Right, and he loses consciousness. And sometimes it can be for 10 minutes, sometimes it can be for an hour that he's like out. And it was due to this injury from this horse that fell on him and his mother. So he's got this best friend, and he just kind of is, I don't know, left out a lot.
Is he in high school?
He's
How
in
old
high
is he?
school.
Oh, okay.
He's a junior.
Okay.
And he's never had a girlfriend. He's just kind of a little backwards because, you know, first of all, the whole thing about his dad and this author, and then about what happened to his mom, and then he has these seizures, and everybody knows him kind of, he feels like his, you know, seizure boy or whatever. So this new girl moves into town, and she is walking past his house, and he is taking his dog out, and he has a seizure in the doorway of his house and can't get back in because it happens right as he's trying to go in. So she goes in, sees what's going on, and kind of like sits with him and takes care of him while this is happening. They become friends, and they eventually start dating. And it's about how, to her, she doesn't see it as what he sees it. And it's kind of like him discovering that, you know, a lot of people have something about them that they don't like. And, you know, that can't take over your whole life, which is kind of what he's let it do. He's kind of like never wanting to do anything. And his dad doesn't help because his dad is super protective of him and worried about, you know, anytime he goes anywhere that he's going to have a seizure. So at the end of the book, him and his friend decide they're going to go on this trip because his girlfriend actually moves. He's totally depressed and devastated. So him and his friend decide they're going to go and check out colleges. And his dad has never let him do anything like this, go off, you know, But his dad talks to his friend and says, you have to call us all the time. This is what you've got to do when you have seizures, all of this. Something happens on this trip that will change their lives forever. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's one of the things that just could happen to anybody, and how you react in a situation like this. It's a defining moment in basically who you are and what you'll do in a moment like that. I don't want to say what happens.
Wait a minute, in a moment like what?
I'm not going to tell you a moment like that. I'm not going to what happens.
Wait a minute, in a moment like what?
I'm not going to tell you a moment like that. I'm not going to tell you what type of moment it is, but it's like a major, how do I say it? A major event happens.
And while they're looking at colleges?
Yes, while they're on the road trip.
Okay.
A major event, crisis happens. And it's how you would respond to that and how you react. Because I don't think anybody knows how they're going to react in certain instances until they're faced with that.
Is this something Finn faces or his friend?
Both of them.
Oh, okay.
And it's how they react, and it kind of makes him reevaluate his whole life. Let's put it that
Finn?
way. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's really good. It's very different. There's a lot of slang. There's a lot of, I think, teens could really relate to this, boys and girls, but I think especially boys. There's a lot of kind of raunchy jokes about body parts and that sort of stuff that I think guys, when guys are together, what do you think they're doing? I mean, that's what they're talking about.
Sports?
Well, it talks about that a little bit, but there's a lot of other things. So it's good. It's definitely different. If you're looking for something out of the norm, I would definitely pick this one up. And it's one of our new releases upstairs. And another one, I have not read this one, but I've heard of it. And this is Noggin by John Corey Whaley in the young adult department. And this is an out there idea too. This is where Travis has had some sort of accident and he wakes up and he's had a transplant. What I mean by that is his head is on somebody else's body. Yes. And it's about this story of about him having his head on somebody else's body. A couple of the kids up in Teen Space have read it and said it was really good. And they really liked it. So something else, a totally different concept kind of out there. And I think guys would probably
I wonder
like
if the end, I wonder if in the end of this book, is it a dream or?
I don't know.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean.
But yeah, so we have that up there as well.
Interesting. I thought it was going to be about some Ken Barbie doll or G.I. Joe or something. I don't know.
No, it's about a head transplant.
Wow. Okay. Movie-wise, the top rented movie this week is A Walk Among the Tombstones. Stars Liam Neeson, and it's based on a novel written by Lawrence Black with the same name. We do have that book here. We do not have the movie, but I believe it's in the system to be rented. And I would almost bet we probably have it on order. It'll probably be here soon. Because even though the movie only got a 6.6 out of 10, it was decent. It's very hard for me to find a movie that Liam is in that I don't like. This does kind of skip around a bit, and it does, you really have to wait till the end to sum it all up. But there are some parts that I like, now wait a minute, how did that happen? Because even when I went back and read the plot, I thought, well, they just skipped from here to here, and there was no explanation of how we got from here to there. But anyway, it has to do, it starts out in 1991, and he is on the NYPD police force. And he's obviously an alcoholic, and he's sitting in a bar. And you don't know.
Why is he obviously an alcoholic?
Well, because you tell when he goes into the bar. I can't tell if he's off duty or on duty. I believe he's on duty. Anyway, he's sitting in a bar, and he must go in there a lot because he doesn't even have to go to the bar and order. All of a sudden, the bartender brings over 2 shots and a cup of coffee. So you can tell, and the first thing he does was drink the shot. Then he drinks the coffee, and before he can get to a second shot, these robbers come in, and you can tell that they've been in this bar before, and the bartender says, I've told you, get out of here, and they shoot him. Well, they don't know he's there until he goes to reach for his gun. You see his badge, and he goes after, and he shoots one of them going out. Anyway, he chases the other one down. And like I said, you don't find out. They skip to 1999. They skip forward, and you kind of figure out when they skip forward, you're thinking, now wait a minute, because now all of a sudden he's sitting in an alcohol anonymous class,
Okay.
and you're thinking, what got him here, and how did we get here? And he has given up. You find later on in the movie that he retired himself, even though he was given a congressional medal for hunting those guys down. He feels because of something that happened while he was chasing those guys that you don't find out till the end of the movie. He retired himself, and he's kind of become a unlicensed private detective. He just kind of takes jobs when he wants to and blah, blah, blah. Well, there's this rampage of women being abducted off the street, and they're being held for ransom. However, even though the people get the money and they pay the money, they're sending them back dead. And they're not just sending them back dead, they're sending them back in body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and come to find out that the guys that are perpetrating this crime are after drug dealers. Well, he doesn't know if he wants to get involved in this whole drug dealer kind of business stuff, but when they kidnap one of these drug dealers, 14-year-old girl, he says, okay, you know what? Enough's enough. Somebody's got to put a stop to this. And you'll have to watch the movie to see if he's successful. Why it was called A Walk Among the Tombstones, I don't know. Because, well, the final scene of the girl, when he's trying to rescue the girl, they do it in a graveyard. That's the only thing I can think of. And one of the women that they do butcher, they put her in body bags and put it in the water in a graveyard. So I don't know. But really, to me, it seems like the title, they could have done a lot more with the story. I think it could have done more with tombstones. I think it could have done more maybe with the dead. I don't know. Because like I said, it does skip around a lot. And I don't know. But it does star, besides Liam Neeson, it does star Kelly Ripa's husband in it, Mark Consuelos.
Oh,
He's one of the drug dealer kids guys that his wife gets, or should I say fiance gets abducted. Okay, music-wise, it's still the same. However, I do have to say, top radio and pop is still Taylor Swift, Blank Space, which I finally did watch the video, and I do like the song. I have heard it on the radio.
So you finally heard it.
But right behind her is Uptown Funk, and I
like Uptown Funk.
That song.
Have you seen the video?
Yes. I've watched it live on Saturday Night Live. I've watched every video that they have of that. I tell you that Bruno Mars, I could just squeeze him.
He's a little bitty package.
He is little. Yeah. He is a little thing. I know. I'd probably squash him. But anyway, oh my gosh, that video. And I mean, you can't, once you listen to that song, you can't get it out of your mind. Yeah. I mean, but that's number 2. That's Rising.
And did you see Blank Space video?
Yes.
It's very good.
Yes.
Her outfits. That's what my daughter's like. I love all her outfits.
That guy.
Oh the first guy? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, my mercy. I don't know where these guys exist, but wow, he has to be a model. That's the only thing I can think of. He has to be a model. However, when they're sitting in that picnic situation, and I looked at his shoes, I thought, is that the style? Who wears those shoes? Anyway, it came on the radio, and my 20-year-old son happened to be sitting next to me. I said, oh, I love this. He says, who doesn't love that song?
Which one?
Blank Space.
Blank Space,
So it must be a very popular song on the college campus also. And I do have to say, I kind of have a guilty pleasure. I love that Jealous song by Nick Jonas.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, I know I shouldn't like those little, I call them little tweeners because...
Well, he's older than that now.
He is older than that, but once you see him on Disney Channel and all that, and, you know, they're a little, what I call little girl bands, you know, it's hard to admit that you like them, you know, but that song, that's Rising too. That's like number 3 or so.
I did see where Meghan Trainor's album is now past Taylor Swift.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hers is
I've heard her
Title. Yeah.
I've heard her song quite a few times. It sounds too much like her first song.
Now, which song? There's 2 more. There's To My Future Husband, or there's
the one where
Lips.
I'm young and I'm stupid. You think I'm stupid?
Yeah, Lips.
That sounds too much like her
My
first
Lips,
one.
I really like it. Yeah.
I like it, but it just sounds too much like her first one. In fact, when it starts playing, I think, oh, well, here comes that bass. Yeah. And then it happens to be her new song. Or it was playing, and I thought it was her old song. I said, oh, I turned to my son again, and I said, have you heard her new song? And that was it on the radio. But it sounds so much like her old song. And, of course, still the number
You forgot Carrie Underwood.
Oh, sorry, Country.
Over
Sorry.
here.
Yeah,
we
she's
go.
over here. Country is still her. Right behind her is I See You by Luke Bryant, which I like that song too.
Something in the Water. I like the video because
Oh,
the
it's very-
dancers
yes.
are from several of them. If you look up their own dance group, and you can look up all the dancers,
Yes.
and Travis Walt is one of the ones that was in. He's a choreographer now for So You Think You Can Dance, and he started out on So You Think You Can Dance, which I have watched from the very beginning. And a couple of the other dancers are from So You Think You Can Dance. So
There is a, I forget the name of the website, but there is a website that you can go to, and it will tell you all the stories behind all of these songs.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. And I had read Behind Blank Space, and I had read about Something in the Water. And then I had read, I wanted to find out about this, because there was so much controversy.
I had kind of told you last
Yes.
time that I thought.
And I wanted to read that. Well, come to find out that he wrote this before the breakup of the lady he was engaged to.
Santana, but I can't think of her real name.
However, when they broke up, he did add a few lines to here that helped with the song. And the video to this song, I don't know if you've seen it, has to do where he's a football player. And he's kind of
I haven't seen that one.
dating a girl that goes to school at the opposing team, and she's kind of messing with him when he's out on the football field. And there's even a point where a girl trying to distract him on the opposing team, she lifts up her shirt to try and distract him on the thing. And of course, then he's saying, I don't blink with you, you don't blink with me. So, and I think I watched right after him is I think the new one by Beyonce, 7-Eleven.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I've listened to it because it has been on the radio. I didn't like it. It's
I didn't.
but I did watch the new one by Nicki Minaj. The video. Her videos, I'm telling you, are out there. This one is even more raunchier than the Anaconda. I mean, it's like a torture room. And okay.
No, I haven't seen that one.
I don't understand what it has to do with the song, but
no, I haven't seen that one.
I understand when you've put a lot of money or should I say when you've invested a lot of money into your body and you want to show it off. I understand that.
To an extent.
But to do it the way she's doing it in her videos, it's like, you got to leave something to the imagination. I know you've invested a lot of money and I understand, but
there was a video I just watched recently that I really liked that was really made you think, and I can't remember if it was Take Me to Church. Have you heard that song? Is that, have you seen the video to that?
Yes.
Now,
It was about the two gay guys.
Okay, then it is
Yes.
that one. I
Yes.
can't remember if that was from that one. Yes.
Yes.
It's very sad and disturbing.
Very sad. And actually, I read the story behind that song. That actually, he is not gay. He wrote that after breaking up with his girlfriend. And Take Me to Church, he's telling about how when you fall in love, it's actually like a reborn situation. You get so caught up in the whole romance of it that you lose yourself.
Sometimes you can.
Yes,
sure.
and some people are willing to sacrifice everything they believe in, every moral that they have
For that person.
to satisfy this person. And I tell you, that's a very powerful song. It's a very
powerful video too, I think.
And I don't know if you've seen the new one by Sam Smith. It has to do.
You're Not the Only One?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
I love that song.
That's got Diana Agron from Glee. She played.
Is that what it is? I
Yeah.
don't like the video because I don't see where the video has anything to do with the song because she takes him back.
Well, that takes place in that time. See, that's back in the what video is that? Like the 50s?
Yes.
Well, back then you didn't get divorces.
Yes,
You just
I know.
pretended everything
Yes.
was all right, and that's what it's about.
Yes. Oh, that's a wonderful song. I've heard that on the radio too.
Yes.
Oh, I love that song.
I do like that song. Yeah.
I have to say that right now in the music industry, of all the ones that I'm seeing are top picks, I can see why they're top picks because right now I think is a good time for music. I don't know.
I know Sam Smith's, him and his album, they're up for a ton of awards, and yeah.
In fact, my daughter, when we were talking, because I always talk to my kids about this music too, because I figure they're the ones that are more in tune than I am. I was talking to her about that song, Take Me to Church. And she tried to tell me he wrote that about Sam Smith, that they were in a relationship. I said, no.
I've never heard that.
That's not what I read. But Sam Smith is gay.
Right.
He does have a lover. But it is not the guy that wrote Take Me to Church.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she seems to think that the guys in those video is the guy from Take Me to Church, but I don't think it is.
I don't think so, but
No.
I don't know.
But like I said, when I read behind the story, he did say it was about.
Tell you a weird video. Have you heard the song Geronimo?
Mm-mm.
It's Geronimo. You'll have to watch the video. It's very unique.
Who's that by?
I can't think.
Is this
It's new. And
hip hop or what
it's
is it?
Pop. It's new. It's up there on the charts.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Now that we've talked about all this music, so
Well, and of course it's further down the charts now, but the Animal by Maroon
Yeah.
5 is still on there. That's a weird video.
that's a weird video.
and
Have you seen?
that's his wife.
Love his new video though, Sugar.
I haven't
And
seen
his
that.
new song Sugar. They literally on one day they all dressed up, the band did, and they went and crashed weddings and performed. And the people at the weddings did not know they were coming.
Really?
And they just show up at these weddings behind this curtain, and when the curtain opens, they're the ones playing at the wedding.
That's
and
cool.
Huh?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And all the, you see them look, and the bride and groom come out, and they're looking, and then they realize what's going on, and they're screaming, and everybody's excited.
Wow.
So you have to watch it. It shows a
Oh,
bunch of
Adam
different.
Levine, he's another one.
Yeah, shows a bunch of different.
He can show up and play at my house.
Weddings.
I don't have to
so
have a wedding. Well, I'll pretend.
There you go. Okay. Well, that wraps up this week for There's a Book in My Nook, and we'll see you next week.